Hello guys, Shadow Sabot here, and today I'm doing another episode of Multiversus, guys. Before I begin, I'd like to say that I made a tier list a few days ago, and if you know by now, guys, or if you've seen it, it's completely outdated. I realized a lot of the things I said on there, I wouldn't agree with now after playing the game a bit more. And not only that, guys, I feel like deserve to be changed. But I'm waiting till season 1 when Rick and Morty come out, guys, to change my tier list accordingly, just because I don't think I should be doing a tier list like every other day. But, guys, based on the thumbnail of the video, you probably know I'm going to be talking about today, which is the worst character in Multiversus, in my opinion, which is the Iron Giant, guys. I've been playing against the Iron Giant and trying him out in the lab for a few days now, guys, and I've seen that he's just such a lackluster character, and someone who I think really should not be called one of the best. I put him in Esther in my tier list, which is why I brought it up originally, but that opinion is 100% changed since then, guys. To start off, why I believe he's one of the worst, if not the worst character in the game, is because his moveset is very, very average, guys. It's something that his giant size is what makes it for how average it was. If he were any smaller, he'd be very, very bad. And not just that, guys. One of his moves, which is the cannonball, is pretty much the only move I've ever seen that I can't counter. Every other move, a simple dash out of the way, and you can just keep on comboing him, guys. Another issue with the Iron Giant is playing against him with literally anyone. The combos you can get off on Iron Giant, guys, are ridiculous because unlike other characters who can quickly dash away, his giant size gives him an equally giant hitbox, which you can just keep hitting at and hitting at for many combos, which you'll see without the video on screen where I was playing in the lab. When I tested out Iron Giant, guys, I tried to see if any of his moves were like really good that made up for how horrible he really is. And none really did. I mean, the Iron Giant just looks like such an appealing character. Like, oh my gosh, he's so big. He's going to be great. But as you see right here, guys, when I use Finn, the amount of combos you can get off on Iron Giant are pretty criminal. Because he's just so big that he can't get away unless the person using him is really good. And another thing is that I don't think people who use Iron Giant, besides like very hardcore mains, know how to use him. The best way to use the Iron Giant would really be to keep enemies super close when you're giant and keep them far away when you're in your, attacking mode. But since most people don't do that, when they play online, they just try and, attack with whatever move they have, and then they lose, which is really sad, guys. Whenever I'm partnered with an Iron Giant, I'm kind of sad because he's not really helpful in 2v2 at all. He tries to do his own thing, gets knocked down, then have to make up for it. And I just think that's not a good character, guys. I think that Iron Giant could be buffed in certain moves that would make him much better, guys. But right now, I feel like without certain moves, he'd be unplayable. Simply because he's too easy to counter, guys. He's a giant target. And he's someone I would say if you're starting the game, you should use to get a feel for it and get wins against easier opponents who don't really know how to counter Iron Giant. But as it gets later, really, you should not be using Iron Giant at all. If I could change him now, I'd probably put him in D tier, possibly F tier, just because he seems like such a character that should be great, but isn't. Now, when I say he's the worst character, guys, I'm really worried because I just have a bad feeling about Morty in the season 1. Because I thought Rick and Morty would go together like Tom and Jerry. But I learned that Morty's going to be his own character and a brawler at that. Though in the show he's had some interesting moments, I really just don't think he has a moveset good enough to take on a bunch of the other characters. Like the Iron Giant, guys. Like just a lackluster moveset that I'm worried about. But besides those concerns, guys, Morty should be fine. Still, I think he may be one of the worst. Rick, on the other hand, should be the opposite. A really good character, guys, or so I hope. Either way, this is just my opinion, guys. Remember, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not any great multiverses or platform fighter god or, guys, anything like that. So, if you guys have your own opinion, put it in the comments, guys. I definitely think that the Iron Giant is not that great, and I definitely saw him wrong completely. And I'm excited to make a new tier list when season 1 comes out on, I believe, August 9th. Pretty close, guys. It's like a week away. Anyway, I'm also going to make another announcement that I'll be getting back to some older content. I've been holding off on a bunch of editing because I've been taking most of my time with Multiverses. But I think I'm going to get back into the flow of things. I released a Roblox video today, so hopefully I can get a few more things like that out very soon. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a nice day.